Assalamu alaikum dear viewers, how are you? I hope everyone will be fine. Welcome back to everyone. Today we are diving into a topic. In that topic, a lot of students get confused when they get unexpected output or strange behavior of your code. But don't worry, you are not alone. Because in this video, we are going to break down this confusion and leave you with a clear understanding how the signed int and unsigned int work in the C language. So let's get started to understand it. Short take 1 byte, long take 4 bytes, and int take 2 bytes. In different machine, the memory allocation of 4 byte, 1 byte, 2 bytes may be different, right? But today we are talking about that take memory for int 2 bytes, right? So when you facing this problem, why its reason may be, right? First reason may be a range of the values when you get different output from your code, right? So what's the range that in 16-bit machine? So in range, half include for negative values and half include the positive values, right? So this range may be all positive values, right? So this is the range of positive, this is the range of negative in 16-bit machine, right? This range is called signed int and this range is called unsigned int, right? Because in this no sign, no negative sign, these are all values are positive, right? So when you get error due to this error, this range, when you exceed this range or less this range, then error occurs, right? So this is called overflow occurs and underflow occurs. When you write that is less than negative values, then underflow errors occur. When you write values maximum these positive values, right, then underflow error occurs and you will get the unexpected values. So let's we take an example and understand it how it works. So this is two qualifiers. First qualifier is that signed int, unsigned int, and second qualifier is unsigned int. So int data types has two qualifiers. First one is that unsigned, second one is that signed int, right? So these two qualifiers has range. When any value is printed on the screen, compiler check that value is in that range. If the value exceeds that range, then you will get unexpected value, right? Or you will give that value that is very small or very less that range value, then you will get also error, that is called underflow, and if the value exceeds, that is called overflow error occurs. So let's we understand with an program. So this is the simple example, let's we understand it, right? So these are our header files. These function we have used in that printf function is that studio and getShape function is that punyo, right? So that's why we have used that header files, right? When the execution start from here int a, then in the memory a space is allocated, that name is variable a, right? So this value will be assigned in this memory space, right? So first of all, compiler will check this values is in the range of int, right? So when we write int can take both values, negative and positive. So here we will not specify unsigned int and signed int, right? So when we write int, that means that int can take both values that are positive and negative values, right? So no compiler will check that range. So compiler will check this value comes in that range. So now we will check it 32767. So this is the range, right? So this is a last positive values of signed int, right? So now this value is signed to this memory 32767, right? So this is comes into the range. So as it this value printed on the screen 32767, as like that this value is printed on the screen, right? So now we change the values, then we will see what happens. So now I have exceed one values from the positive value. When we write int, so compiler always check in the signed int, right? So now compiler will check this value is in the range, right? But this value is one increase, right? So now compiler will count from this value maximum 1, right? Because this is the increase 1, 7 to 8, right? So now compiler will take this value and this value assigned to the memory. So now compiler will give that negative value to this variable, right? So now this value is printed on the screen, right? So now negative value is printed on the screen corresponding this value, right? So now you will get errors when you do work on that values, right? So now we will check this value in the unsigned range, right? The format specifier is that, unsigned is that percentage u and this percentage d, right? So format specifier is that percentage d and unsigned format specifier is that percentage u, right? So if I change here format specifier, that print the values, right? If I write here percentage u, that is a format specifier is that unsigned int. Now compiler will check this value from the unsigned int, right? So now we will check this value. This is come into the range. So now we will check it. So this value comes into the range. This is the value of positive, right? So now compiler will check due to this format specifier, compiler will check unsigned int range, right? Because integer have two types of the range, unsigned and signed int, right? So now compiler will check unsigned range, that is comes into the range, right? So now this is the come into the range. This positive value will be signed to this variable, right? And these value will be printed on the screen, right? So when we will print f percentage use, so this value will printed on the screen, right? So now we will take another example to understand it, right? So if you write negative values to unsigned int, if you assign negative value to unsigned int, right, that have not in the range, right? Because unsigned int have all positive values, but you have here declared negative values, then what will happen? So now how compiler will check? Compiler will check where it is value. This is value is that this value, right? But compiler will check in unsigned int because we have right here percentage u, right? So this value is, this positive value is here, right? We have assigned value this 1 2 after the two values, right? So compiler next check the two values 32 76 and 68, that comes this value, right? After the positive value, right, that value comes, right? So now compiler will give the value to this variable. So this value will be assigned to this variable. So this value is printed on the screen, right? So I hope you have understand why you get unexpected value or unexpected value that will give you errors, right? So this is the way to get. Sometimes you will not get errors in that value because this is the range of 16-bit, right? If you work on the 32-bit machine, this range is beyond of this range, right? This is a very high range. When you exceed that range, then you will get errors. When you get errors, so this reason occurs, right? I hope you get understand it. If you find it helpful, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel and turn on the notification. In this way you will be the first whenever I uploaded our new videos, right? So in the next video I'll explain all about the CAD types. So till then, a lot of care of you. I'll see you in the next video.